Well, firstly, Uri, I'd like to say thank you for allowing me to come to your home and visit you. And I've always been a fan of your books, and I've read so many of them. And I think what comes out in the books is all about positive energy. Do you want to explain a little bit about what that means to?
First of all, Richard, if I may, I would like to direct your listeners and viewers to my website, to urigeller.com, because on my website I allow people to read my books free of charge. I realize, traveling around the world, believe it or not, that there are people who can't afford to buy a book.
Very true.
And that's why I tell people to try to put themselves in an attitude of gratitude, because there's so many worse things out there in the world than we think that we have a problem, but we really don't. I mean, it's shocking and tragic that every 4 seconds a baby dies from hunger somewhere around the world.
It is.
A child dies from malaria every 45 seconds. It's incredible. So when you wake up in the morning, there is no space for us to complain.
Yes.
Is there?
No.
So my books are available. They will motivate you. They will inspire you. I have older books, newer books, and so on. But I think, Richard, that throughout my career of starting with rather trivial things of spoon bending, mind reading, fixing broken clocks, basically doing a kind of a psychic show, I realized that it was fantastic because it made me famous, it made me controversial, it was entertaining. I entertained millions of people around the world. But throughout this journey, I realized that it's nice, it's okay to entertain, but at the end of the day, people want a motivational angle in their life.
Definitely in today's world, I think that's so important.
They want inspiration. They want to dip into something that is spiritual, that could help their lives for the better.
Do you think when you look at if somebody goes into a house, for example, they buy a new house and they say, I don't like the feeling of this house. Straight away I've got a bad feeling about this house. It feels bad. Do you think that's what we can pick up on, energies that are good and bad in people and houses?
Absolutely. First of all, because what you do, you call your organization Ghost Challengers. I'm a huge believer in ghosts and spirits. And I'm a believer. First of all, I was born a believer. It's like I'm a religious man. I believe in God and nothing will change my mind.
No.
So it's in your psyche, in your DNA, it's in your chromosome build up, probably in your mind, in your brain. But let us go back to those who are kind of a bit skeptical about ghosts and spirits. If you go back to 1924, and you study the very famous equation that Albert Einstein wrote, E equals mc squared. With that equation, he proved to the world, Richard, that everything in the universe is made from energy, and energy cannot be destroyed. So one might ask the question, well, if everything is made from energy, even this table, listen, you heard I'm tapping the table, but that table is not solid, this table is energy. So one must ask the question, if we are made from energy, and energy cannot be destroyed, then what happens when we die? So that's my explanation, that when we die, we go into another, probably to another dimension, another realm, another arena, somewhere out there. I call it paradise, I call it heaven, and there's no doubt in my mind that I will meet my family, my dogs, everyone that passed away, because we do not end our lives. Life continues, infinity is out there, it's solid, and it's forever and beyond.
With the psychokinesis and that, now, when we go out on an investigation sometimes to look for ghosts, sometimes we have knocks within the building. It's almost answering us. Do you think sometimes it's our thoughts that's making this happen, or do you think it could be possibly an intelligence that's replying to us?
it's everything. Everything is possible. It is possible that your mind creates tangible effects, because what is reality? Are you actually interviewing me now? Am I real? You're maybe creating Uri Geller.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm creating you. Maybe there's a vacuum out there. There's a void. So the power of the mind is probably the most powerful computer in the world. So to explain taps and noises and sounds, etc., that could be our mind, but it also could be a tangible energy from beyond, from the other side. I just explained to you that energy cannot be destroyed. So it could be that there is a spirit, there is a ghost in the house. I do believe in ghosts. So I'm very open-minded in my thinking. So I think that everything and anything is possible in the universe. So the sounds, apparitions, when something appears, that could be anything, but I would rather believe that it is an entity rather than we are creating it.
Sure, I think that's how I prefer to believe it as well. Well, how do you deal? I mean, since I've been doing this, I've been on the radio, and I've also been in the newspaper, and I've had my first experience of negative comments made to me, and I've always had utmost respect for what you do and that. How do you deal with being a celebrity? How do you deal with this negative energy that's thrown at you?
Look, when I was young, Richard, I was immediately attacked in Israel in 1968 when I came out onto the scene with spoon bending and mind reading. Every country has a minority of skeptics who will attack you.
Yeah.
I thought at that time that it would destroy my career. But as time progressed on, I realized that controversy is priceless. You can't buy controversy in a shop. And it's very difficult to create also. But when it's created for you by others, that's almost like a gold mine for your career. And I actually discovered it in America on a major TV show called The Johnny Carson Show, where I walked into a trap. Everything was set up.
I've seen that.
Things didn't work. The spoon bent very little. And I thought that was it. I sat there for 22 minutes, humiliated, sweating, nothing worked.
That's what I found awful about it, is the humiliation that they try to...
Yeah, but then I was young then, so I didn't quite understand PR. I didn't understand what advertising was all about. And I went back that night to my hotel ready to pack up to go back to Israel. And
it's amazing.
I mean, not being talked about is you're finished. Being talked about is what makes your career, your work. People are interested. People want to know you more. People argue about you. There's a debate. So my answer to you, Richard, is go with the flow. Don't ignore. I learned to ignore the people who attack. Because as long as they don't libel or slander me seriously, then I pick up the phone to my lawyers.
Exactly.
But otherwise, hey, they're talking about you.
That's true. Very true.
Remember, the worst thing in life is not being talked about. You have to be talked about. And it's